Perhaps no other manufacturer harnesses the power of its history better than Harley Davidson. But more than being able to tap into the company history, Harley is equally in tune with the custom scene and unique builds its loyal fan base has pumped out over the years. The 2022 Lowrider and Lowrider ST are perfect examples of Harley blending its heritage with the custom scene, all while adding modern twists. Both motorcycles share the same softtail platform, meaning you get hidden rear suspension and a more comfortable ride. That better ride is further bolstered by Harley, finally, adding a shock with a respectable amount of travel, for a cruiser anyway, 4.4 inches. It's the same one found on the Heritage Classic 114 and Fat Bob 114. Style-wise, you get flashbacks of Harleys from the 80s when looking at either of these bikes. The black and gold combination reminds us of a time when long curly perms were all the rage. Fortunately for us, only one of those trends is making a comeback for 2022. Then feast your gaze down to the wheels, and the gold color adds a nice pop and contrast to the black features found mostly everywhere else. The round headlight on the S model, flanked by the minimal but obvious nacelle, is a clear throwback, but look at the gas tank and you'll see the font including the drooped H in the name is directly from the 80s, too. All of those style elements give way to the Milwaukee-Eight 117 V-twin living down below. The most powerful M8 engine to be fitted from the production line short of the CVO models, the 117 Psi 1923cc air-oil-cooled V-twin, boasts a healthy 125 pounds-foot of torque at 3,500 rpm for instant thrust the moment you twist the throttle. Horsepower numbers are actually down a little compared to the CVO and other street models, more on those in a separate post, 103 horsepower at 4,750 rpm, but really, in the V-twin world torque is what really counts anyway. Nonetheless, since there's no such thing as too much power, the Screamin' Eagle catalog is already full of options to make the M8 117 flex its muscle even more, if that's your thing. In the eyes of Harley Davidson, the Lowrider S could easily be the everyday cruiser you choose if you want to be able to do a little bit of everything. Except maybe touring. For that, Harley brings you Sport touring isn't a category you normally associate with Harley Davidson, but maybe you should. At least that's what the Lowrider Street wants you to think. Here you have the same basic structure found with a Lowrider S, but with a frame-mounted FXRT-inspired fairing straight from 30 years ago. It wraps tight around the headlight and fork and comes complete with ducts on each side, a true throwback. Like the Lowrider S, the 4.4-inch rear suspension travel means the back end sits high, so you can actually take a corner at a moderate pace. A different shock than the one used on the other softail models gets you that extra travel, and also a little better damping. To account for the higher position, the saddlebags are also high, but packed close to the fender, to give it a clean look. The bars sit high and the foot controls are mid-mounted, giving the rider a commanding, yet comfortable perch to see the road ahead. Both the Lowrider S and Lowrider Street are also distinguished by their single seat, another expression of how, sometimes, motorcycles are best enjoyed alone. Harley is expected to release more new 2022 models in the coming months, including the next chapter of the Sportster story, so if grey and black performance baggers aren't your thing, there are still more models on the way.